Why do you need to?
It just sounds more convenient rather than having to go in and out of different exchanges.
Now I can make you a Bitcoin payment from my ETH, swap it instantaneously at zero cost. It kind of doesn't matter. It's the old fiat world where if I'm switching from Cayman Islands dollars to pounds because I need to send you 50 quid, it's a nightmare. It takes 3 days, costs a fortune. But this new world, that's gone away. Now, will one currency be larger than others over time? Probably. Which one will it be? I have no idea.
The cryptocurrency market has turned bearish once again, with total market capitalization falling below $2 trillion to $1.97 trillion. Bitcoin is currently trading below $40,000, as the cryptocurrency market has turned pessimistic once again. With this decrease in price, the market capitalization of the largest cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, has dropped by 1.72% to $40,196. With this decrease in price, the market capitalization of the largest cryptocurrency has reached $761 billion. Bitcoin has lost 7.5% of its value in the last 7 days, which is concerning. In the middle of this erratic price pattern, investors are concerned about whether Bitcoin will fall below the $40,000 level or maintain its current position. Raoul Pal, the founder and CEO of Real Vision and a global macro investor, believes the cryptocurrency market has bottomed out and that new upward momentum is on the way. Hello, and welcome to Webster Finance. In today's video, Raoul Pal discusses Bitcoin, also debunked the mentality that everything is a scam and anything apart from fiat currency wouldn't allow the society to flourish. Also, Raoul Pal highlight how stablecoin will grow in the crypto market and how it makes dollar very useful, the idea of one currency over the internet, stating that there are no reasons to have single online currency. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into the video.
But stablecoins have actually made the dollar very useful because now I can send you a stablecoin in seconds.
Yeah.
So, again, people are just always looking at it through one lens without saying, what are you trying to solve? We're trying to solve instant payment system for starters. Well, stablecoins solve that really well. Now, if the answer is, well, I don't want fiat, well, fine. Then you've got the choice. You can have Bitcoin, you can have Ethereum, you can have Solana, whatever you want. It depends whether the other person accepts it. And if they don't, then you've got an automated market maker like Uniswap who'll automatically swap it into a different currency for you instantaneously at almost no cost. So it kind of works pretty well.
I would have loved to have seen you debate someone at the Bitcoin conference.
It's difficult to debate people who don't want to open their minds to the fact that you can be liberal in your opinions and you can change them over time as things change. And there's nothing wrong with thinking that Bitcoin is the only solution for you. Absolutely fine. Why do I care? But they seem to care if anybody else doesn't think that. And that holds true of any maximalist of anything. Same in religions. It doesn't make sense. Basically, we all go to a bar, we socialize with each other, and we shouldn't care what religion you're in, what crypto you're in. But for some reason, it seems to matter so much to people. And I get it. They want to be proponents for their own network, and they want their network to survive. I get that. And that is a good part of the space. But it doesn't have to be one thing fits all. That is their opinion, and they're entitled to that opinion. But you can't force somebody to have your opinion. If not, you're doing what the missionaries did, which was go into countries and force people to take a religion on by coercion. That's not the way. The way should be by allowing Bitcoin to flourish and prove that it is better over time. But that is not the way it goes. And this idea that everything's a scam. So one of the things that the Bitcoiners held was, in a bear market, Bitcoin is the only one that survives and everything else goes to zero. Yeah. Since the bear market, ETH has outperformed. And I'm not saying that as an ETH maximist. I'm not. I don't give a shit what works over time. I literally don't care. I would care for the whole space. That's what I care about. I really care about this whole space. But the point is, ETH outperformed. So it's like, that's not the narrative. The narrative is they all get exposed in a bear market. It's all narrative, and it's not true. It's just simply not true. what is true? Is Bitcoin the most decentralized, strongest, most robust network? Yes, true. Is it the only answer to everything? Absolutely, categorically, no. But if you're in charge of your own sovereign state of Layah, and you do it that way, where you've got your own system of tokens, NFTs, you give people access to you, so you can have 100 people on a Zoom call together, and they get to talk to you once every month, and given different layers of access, that becomes Web3, where the community owns a share of their community, so they're working with the influencer. Right now, I watch you on YouTube. I'm being served ads for the privilege of watching it. Why should that be? Now, again, ads aren't inherently evil. What's evil is the fact that we're all getting monetized and nobody's getting a share of it or a significant share in it. And we can change that via Web3, where communities participate in the networks. Much like in Bitcoin, you hold a Bitcoin and you're now a network participant. And you're incentivized to grow the network, which is why people get very passionate about it. Well, if your fans were interested in growing your network and they were going to get financial benefit from doing so, well, that digital marketing explodes. It changes everything. So this is why it's going to change every business model, because if you think about a fashion brand, Nike, or Adidas or anybody, they pay so much in marketing costs. They're paying to Google, they're paying to Facebook, they're paying to newspapers, they're paying to billboards, they're paying to conferences, they're paying. Now, if you tokenize that community, you can get rid of all of that layer of costs and get your audience or your community members to promote your products for you, because they're going to be incentivized to go on TikTok and make videos about them or make YouTube content or tweets about it, because the more people who buy the product and come into the network, the more valuable the network becomes, because the network gets a share of it. So let's say you're a music fan and you buy a token in Rihanna's new album, and you buy a fractionalized part of one song, the IP, for the first 3 months. So you're now going to go on TikTok all day and try and promote that one song. If that song becomes a hit, you'll make money from it. So that pop star now does not have to pay for marketing. She's not paying Google and Facebook. They're not doing anything. The members are doing it because they're incentivized to do it. Much like everybody in the Bitcoin network is incentivized to get people onboarded into Bitcoin, because the value of Bitcoin goes up. All of this space is moving much faster than you can ever possibly imagine. So I'm working on this space. A lot of people are. This is what NFTs are. NFTs exploded onto the screen, onto the scene. Right, it's coming so fast. This space is growing. The crypto space overall is growing at 137% a year. And the internet, back at roughly the same stage, was growing at 65% a year. It is twice the speed. I say this many times, people don't understand what I'm talking about. Twice the speed of the internet in terms of adoption. So if it's growing 137% a year now, we're at 300 million users. We're at 600 or 700 million users this time next year. We're at 1.5 billion users the year after. Now, that will happen at scale because of what these giant communities are going to do. The giant communities being fashion brands, music, sports, film franchises, TV, all of this, they're all coming into these new business models. Okay. On here, you will get paid into your wallet for participating in the communities that you belong to. So maybe there's a beauty brand you're involved in that you really like, that you think is really cool. And maybe there's a bunch of influencers you're involved in, some music and Bitcoin, right? So maybe those are your cultural things, and maybe a fashion brand that you love as well, right? And you're part of the community. You're helping promote it. You're doing stuff. You want to be involved. You have the tokens on your phone. And these are like universal basic equity, because you're earning them by being a person in the network who's doing good for the community. And so you've got a bunch of these things that are valuable that you've not had to pay for in many circumstances. You may want to buy more because you really believe in it, but you may get awarded them. So you're getting free money for being a good community member and helping drive those networks. And they'll all be on your mobile phone. And then you'll be able to spend them either within that network or exchange them outside of that network for other things. So it's a world of having multiple currencies for multiple things. Like when you go on holiday to Spain, you have to use euros. And if you go on holiday to Australia, you need Aussie dollars. So you are leaving one community, going to another, and you'll use their currency. It's the same. I said this ages ago. Gary Gensler came out all guns blazing and said, we want to ban everything. Yes. Everything's terrible. That is classic negotiation tactics. You start with the hardest line first, and you try and negotiate to the center, and you try and keep it a bit on your side. So he tried to go in hard. He hasn't even got the mandate. The CFTC haven't got the mandate. Nobody's got the mandate yet. So they're trying to do this this cross-governmental policy committee to do this. But what they've said is, yeah, we get it. It's real. It's happening. And we have to work with it. So it's exactly playing out as I said it would, is they will reach a decent compromise. They will have to rewrite some laws like the securities laws and the Howey test over time, because they'll realize it's not going to work. And if the US wants to be a world leader, they have to change that. Europe doesn't have a Howey test. Europe has other issues, however, and so people are going to figure this out over time. The UK have made a great statement of what they're trying to do. They've said, yep, we get it. Web3 is coming. Stablecoins are part of the economy. We think they're good. We understand that the world is changing, and we're going to allow this to happen, and we'll have a light touch regulation best we can, and we're going to be adaptive. So we know the space is moving, so there's no point trying to regulate it with an iron fist now. Let's see how it goes. Everyone's going to do that. It's too big. You can't have it. As I said, by next year, there's 700 million people using this. What are you going to do? Just suddenly say no? It's just not going to happen. So all it is them being comfortable that they get their share of taxes.
Yes.
And that shenanigans aren't going on. That's all it is. And we make it, everyone's shaking their fists, screaming at each other, but that's all they really care about is please don't destroy our own system of money. Try not to hide money from bad things. And that's basically it. The UK has made it clear, and I think the Fed has made it pretty clear, they're both going to probably coincide and operate with each other. What I think seems to be moving towards is the central banks will have their own version. So let's say they want to hand out stimulus. You can give it directly to people's wallets. Maybe the government has a wallet of which you pay your taxes from or whatever, but you'll have private wallets, private CBDC, private stable coins. I think they're accepting that technology moves too fast to not use existing rails that the private sector's built. I think they're all going to come to that solution. Singapore got to that solution too. I think India's coming to that solution, that they're going to have to use all sorts of different existing blockchain rails. Now, what blockchains they're built on, who knows? Nobody cares. They will just be built on different things, and people will hate it, but a bunch of stuff will get built on, XRP. A bunch of stuff will get built on some layer of ETH. Some will get built on, Cosmos. Nobody cares.